Namaskar, welcome to the Mission of Truth. If I ask you, what is mind? Can you answer me without using mind? Without using thinking and reasoning? Without using remembering and imagining? Can you answer this question? If not, then this is for you. It is a discourse on mind and meditation. So let's begin. In the history of mankind, we have discovered the greatest discovery, which is meditation. Meditation is not some techniques by which you can silence the mind, but it is when the mind is silent, meditation begins. With the very death of your mind is the birth of meditation. To understand the significance and the nuances of meditation, what true meditation is, we must first understand what mind is. So, if I question you, what is mind? Then if you are a person of rationality, then with a rational mind, you will answer like this, that mind is the totality of mental phenomena, including both conscious and unconscious processes. And I will answer you that yes, the answer you have given is correct scientifically, at least up to this time, because science has progressed only this much. While if you study the scriptures, you will get a glimpse of what our ancient sages said about mind. But you will get only a glimpse because the scriptures are dead. They are like memories. They are not the present moment. When you study a scripture, you are simply viewing an album, but you are not living the moment. You have to live the moment. You have to realize the truth. You have to witness that you are the witness. You have to wake up, and then only in one glimpse the entirety of truth will be revealed to you as an open secret, because the secret is already what you are living, but still it is a secret because you are not aware of it. You must see this fact that mind is the only thing inexistent yet controlling the whole of your existence. Until and unless you rebel against the mind, meditation is not yours. Meditation itself is a rebellion against mind. It begins with no mind. In the history of our discovering the technique or the method or the path to the truth, we have realized that there is no single path to the truth. But that does not mean that there are many paths, because the truth is there is no path, yet a path is. And that path is called the pathless path. This pathless path is not something which can be mastered by practice, because practice itself is about training the mind, but the aim, the very necessity, the very requirement to realize the truth is this, that the mind must not only be absent but be completely seized. It must completely end. Now, if the mind is not completely seized, you cannot live the truth. You are already the truth, and your existence is the existence of the truth, and it cannot be removed. It cannot be erased. Existence is you, but it is your ignorance. Now, what is ignorance? Ignorance is living with the mind. So it is your ignorance that you think and live in terms of the body, in terms of the mind, and some few mad people who do not live in the limits of the body, in the limits of the mind, but in the limits of their conception of the soul. They are a whole new category. They are totally different. Now don't think that they are sacred. They are the most idiotic person. Why? Because they are not believing that which they are seeing, which is the body. They are not believing what they are sensing, which is the mind. But they are believing a simple belief of the mind that there is heaven, there is hell, there is a soul which will live after the body dies, after the mind works no more, and will live a life after death in heaven if it has done good deeds in his lifetime. Otherwise, hell is already present. It can also enjoy hell, the hellish fires, the serpents and the dragons there. And those who have accumulated some virtues in their lifetime, they will enjoy good food, juicy fruits, and the dancing angels. So they are a wholly separate category. I want you to see the truth rationally. The truth I am talking about now, this time, this moment, is of the phenomenal reality. I am not talking about the absolute truth here in this moment. In this moment, I'm talking about the truth of the phenomenal reality, the body, the mind, and the conception of the soul, which must be addressed. Otherwise, you will think that the body and the mind is unholy and the soul is holy. And by the very habit of mind, you will get attached to the concept of soul by abandoning the body and the mind, believing that they are all unholy. They are the doors of the sins. But the reality is, this body is simply a lump of matter which is functioning because you are providing it some food, some water, some air to breathe, and also because you have done some past deeds, which is obviously correct. And based upon that, you are living your life, your simple life, with 1,000 complexities. Every day you are living it. And some say that they are existing. But this existing is a very deep word. You cannot use it in your blinding ignorance. To understand what existence is, meditation is required. It is not required to help you reach to existence. That will be a nonsense idea. You are existing right now, in this very moment. In this very moment, there is no past, because the past belongs to the memory, and the memory you know as a function of mind. And also in this very moment, future is not present, because future is again imagination, which is again, as you know, a function of mind. Then if there is no mind, existence is without its wings of past and present, because existence is beyond time. Time flies with the wings of past and present and future, because time, as it understands present, is fleeting, and it has two wings called past and future. And this whole concept of time is tied to the mind. If there is no mind, there is no time. The very act of disciplined living is mechanical. This disciplined living is suitable for a man of a very strict mind. But to a man who has no mind, to him there is no concept of time. There is no present which is fleeting, because the present is not born out of past and will not get converted or merged to the future. The present is simply existence. This living, this living is beyond life and death. The mind makes you believe that life is between birth and death. But he who has no mind and simply exists as existence itself knows that living and this life is not between birth and death, but birth and death are only two knots in the infinite thread of life, of living existence. There is no end to existence, and therefore there is no death. Death is only possible when something has taken birth, and that which has taken birth must die by the definition of birth. These simple things, birth and death, black and white, this and that, is the very characteristics of mind. Mind thinks in terms of duality. Mind moves with duality. With this mind, there is I and there is you. With no mind, that which is I, is you, and cannot be separated. True love is there when there is no mind. True happiness, which is not fleeting, which depression can never grasp, is beyond mind. And when I use the word beyond, do not think that you have to transcend the mind, because there is no mind at all. You have to just see this fact. It is as simple as that. You have to see that there is no mind. Now, as you believe, you think, you agree and you disagree, you will also believe it that it is unbelievable that mind is not existent, because every bit of life that you live is through the lens of your mind. You cannot see with the naked eyes. You cannot see things as it is. You cannot see yourself as it is. You cannot see existence as it is. But you can only see existence between birth and death. You can only see yourself between your concept of your identity and the duality it creates with other identities. This is the quality of your life. You cannot see the simple truth that you are existence, that you are truth, that you are love, that you are ecstasy, that you are God. Now, as I say these things, you will get overwhelmed because you are still stuck in the fabric of mind. You see that this mind is always oscillating like a pendulum between one and the other, between one and the other. When there is no two things, then there is no mind. Now, again, with your conception of duality, you will think, so when there will be no two things, then there will be no mind. Therefore, I have to remove one. And if the other one remains, no issue. But that is again a thinking limited to duality. You have to see that the two things of the mind between which it oscillates exists together, and their existence is illusory, and that is why it is inexistent, as I previously stated. The mind oscillates between two illusory points, and the two illusory points are not separated. They are like the two sides of the one single coin. They cannot be separated. If you try to separate one thing, then the result of that will be orthodoxy. You cannot separate one thing. You have to separate, you have to cut apart the whole thing, the two things at the same time, not even at a difference of an instant. You have to cut it instantaneously, together, at one time. Now it seems impossible. Now you may think that how can I cut these two together in one instant? Let me tell you that the approach you are taking is again a path of mistake. You cannot cut them. Those who have tried to cut them have utterly failed and have resulted in several mental issues. They have tried to control their mind. And in the scriptures of yoga and meditation, you will find that many immature people give their commentaries and write and translate the sutras of yoga and meditation in terms of controlling, and those who practice get horrible results because meditation is not a practice to control the mind. Meditation is when the mind is completely seized. The mind is seen as non-existent. The mind is completely out from your being. Then you are truly free. Then you must be thinking that how is that possible without controlling? And for this, now I will give you the most important and the most revolutionary way by which the mind, which is already inexistent, will become evident to you that it is truly inexistent, and that is observation. Now, this observation must be understood with great attention. You must see this, that observation is no effort. Observation does not require any effort. That is its very beauty. That is why, by doing nothing, it has transcended every technique which has tried and attempted to do everything. Observation simply says you that be and see, because the and which I am using in between being and seeing is only linguistic. The and is forming a linguistic barrier between being and seeing, which is inexistent when you be, see truly. When you be and with no difference, with no other action of seeing, you see. Because seeing, witnessing, observing is your very nature. It is not a technique. It is not a practice that you must do to clear your mind or to see that your mind is already inexistent, already cleared away. So, observation shows you the pathless path. Observation tells that simply be, simply see, and you will find the truth of the phenomenal reality, which is no essence. Now, when I say that no essence is the essence, or the truth of the phenomenal reality. Do not think that the phenomenal reality does not exist, is what I am saying. I am not saying that the phenomenal reality is physically or in the subtle level does not exist or in the causal level does not exist. We don't need to move into the causal level because the causal is already in the subtle. Now I will explain this and it will become clear to you. Once you see that the phenomenal reality starting from the physical realm, which is the body, the external environment, the rocks, the grasses, the buildings, the temples, the mosques, the churches, these things are not really present. I am not saying that. Nor does the truth of the phenomenal reality says that. Because I am saying nothing. I am silent. Completely silent. What is getting expressed is of truth, is the truth itself. So when you see that the phenomenal reality with so much gross and physical things in the beginning appear and disappear, though they are gross and solid, their essence is completely contradictory to what they seem. They seem as if so solid and tangible, as if, not as if, you can hold them, you can touch them, you can grasp them, and therefore you think that the essence of this must also be as solid as it appears. But let me tell you, as we will see in your observation, which is true meditation, that the gross objects as they appear are completely hollow by their essence. Similarly, the mind, which keeps on running and also makes you run, not through other objects, but ultimately behind the mind itself. That mind which constantly thinks, constantly reacts, imagines, remembers, shows willpower, is inexistent, though it seems subtle and so controlling and dominant in your life. is also inexistent because it appears and it disappears without leaving any trace of anything which appeared and disappeared. Their appearance and disappearance is whole. They do not leave anything which can be said as unique to that. As science said, everything is energy, and everything as their energies can be converted from one thing to another thing. But in spirituality, in your true realization, this energy, which for a scientist is as if again something third person, is very first person for you. For a meditator or for an observer, because meditation, the word meditation has been corrupted by those who practice it every day, because they think if we practice it, it is our sadhana, we are doing some kind of sadhana, and by the end of our sadhana we will gain something. We will gain the fruit of our sadhana, of our meditation, of our devotion, of our prayers. Prayer is a wholly separate thing. You know, prayer is fully psychological. Prayer is merely a consolation. It is simply a consolation, giving a temporary peace, calm to that inexistent mind. Prayer, which seems optimistic from the surface, is truly pessimistic at its roots, because for prayer there must be someone who is praying, who believes he needs to be saved, who believes that he is suffering. And he must obviously believe because he lives in the very realm of mind. If you live in the very realm of mind, suffering is inevitable. Suffering cannot end if you live in the level of your mind. You have to see this fact that mind comes and goes. Suffering comes and goes. Even the happiness which you experience in your life comes and goes. But what existence is a question mark to you. Because if you solve this, what existence is, then everything will be solved. Then there will be no question left for you. Then you will live in totality, not in the totality of mental phenomena which is mind, but in the totality of existence, of being. So, when you see this fact that the gross and the subtle is inexistent because it has no essence. It does not leave a trace of any essence, and moves on and on, eternally, eternally moves the ever-changing phenomenal reality. Once you see this, you will be free from the body, you will be free from the mind. You have to see this fact through observation, which is your very nature. What I am calling observation is what the Upanishads, the ancient scriptures which have discovered the truth, says witnessing. You are the witness, and everything that you observe is you the witness, because there is no difference, there is no distinction between the observed and the observer. Now we will go into the very depth of this understanding. First of all, you cannot understand this through mind, through words. They are very limited. Try to see this fact by being, not by making efforts, by simply waking to your being, to your existence. You can see all the facts that is being expressed here. As I said, expressed. Let me clarify that these expressions are only pointers to the truth. They are only pointing to the truth that there is no distinction between you and the God which you imagine, which is still, no matter how beautiful or how atheistic, is again the mind which is believing that the mind is believing that the God is very beautiful or God does not exist. Both of these are dualities. Both of these are the poles of the mind. If you cut away one of the two poles, you will have one left. And that one will be more dangerous because it will be orthodoxy. So, as I said, you have to see that both the poles of the mind is inexistent because they have no essence. Once you see this, you are free from the body, you are free from the mind. Now, there is some possibility for you to experience, to have a glimpse of what true meditation is. Now, When you know that you are seeing that the body is not you, the mind is not you, and you do not know what you are, but what you are now experiencing is the vast, is the great emptiness, the emptiness of essence, no essence. But be very careful when you are experiencing this emptiness. Do not get overwhelmed by the experience of the emptiness. Do not grasp that emptiness is the essence of this reality, both the phenomenal and the absolute. Do not grasp that emptiness is the absolute truth. If you grasp, that shows that mind is still not ceased. The mind is still present in its most subtlest and finest, in its most basic form. You must see the emptiness as something you are experiencing, which is a fact, which is not a matter of agreeing or disagreeing, which is a fact, a matter of observation. Once you observe this, the great emptiness you are experiencing is, and there is the experience of emptiness, then see this fact. Though it is the subtlest observation you can make outwardly, still you are outwardly looking. Do not think that you have gone way far from the body and the mind. You have transcended them and you are in some extraordinary innermost core. No, you are not. You are still outwardly looking. And because you are outwardly looking, you are seeing this emptiness. Now is the great secret of meditation. The very heart of meditation is this, that as you are experiencing the emptiness, see that though you do not know who you are, who is experiencing the emptiness, there is an experiencer. There is something or someone which you cannot define now, or which you cannot state now with clarity that what it is, but it has that light of seeing the emptiness. Now be very attentive. This is the heart of meditation. This is the heart of awakening. This is the heart of self-realization, that Know that the emptiness which you are observing is nothing but the great light, the attention expanding all around without any object to which it can get reflected. It is like a room full of light, but it is only because though the room is empty, the walls of the room prove that it is full of light because the walls are visible, they are reflecting the light. So even if the room is empty, you can see that the room is full of light because the walls of the room is showing you by their very existence, because they are visible to your experience, because they are present in your experience, that light is present. Know that emptiness as the great expansion of awareness. It is objectless consciousness. It is when you are not conscious of anything, but consciousness is. But this is not the end. This is the very beginning. Now, the end, like an instantaneous thunderbolt, will shake and destroy everything of falsity in less and less and less than your eyes takes the time to blink. This is the secret I am now revealing to you. It is the discovery by the ancient sages, but it has not been presented with clarity ever before like this. Though in the great conversations between Ashtavakra and King Janaka, a glimpse of this you can see, and in that glimpse the entirety of it is present. But for you to embody that is very difficult because you are still approaching it with the mind. Now listen to the very secret, the direct path, the pathless path. Turn your attention inward. Turn the attention which is illuminating the non-essence of the phenomenal reality to inward, to the observer. Observe the observer. When you observe the observer, then the observer is the observed, and in that observation, the essence, the absolute truth, existence, being, love, peace, God, everything is realized. That is the moment when the Renaissance shakes everything which has been going on and on and on from the past, from the very infinite past which you have been living, and everything that you were carrying as baggages. All that wastage is eradicated in that very instant of awakening. That is the very secret. Turn your attention inward. Once you see the emptiness of the body, the mind, and everything which has been coming and going, which is a phenomena. When all the phenomena ceases to exist, when the essence of the phenomena, which is non-essence, is your observation as emptiness or blankness, when the mind is like a clean slate, tabula rasa, when the mind is completely cleared away, there is no sensation of the body. From that emptiness, turn your attention inward to the observer, to the witness, to whom all these appear and disappear. And by that turning, the great light which you cannot conceive by your imagination or by the memory of the greatest light, the brightest light you have seen in your life. You cannot compare. Your imagination has no place there. It is not even a thousandth part of a grain to that. The physical light you see, if it gets to the highest luminosity, it can blind you. But when you see the truth, be the truth, the greatest light, the bliss, the joy, the love, the ecstasy, when you be that great light, that magnificent light, awakens you, awakens the complete existence. And then this is the very crest jewel of meditation that humanity has ever discovered. And this is the pathless path which the Neo-Advaita talks about to realize the truth. Thank you.